This is a 1991 Nissan Skyline. I want to say it's a GTST, but it's really not. It is a GTE Type X that has been swapped to be a GTST. So it has the RB20 DET and it has the 5-speed manual out of the GTST. It's rear-wheel drive, has no HICUS. If you don't know, HICUS is like the four-wheel steering thing that Nissan implemented back in the R32s. And man, this car is a joy to drive. So this is relatively stock, this car. It has an intake, it has a catback exhaust, that's pretty much it, you know, coilovers and wheels. Nothing crazy, it's not tuned, it's not, you know, it doesn't have any big turbo or anything, no aftermarket manifolds or nothing. So, you know, this is pretty much how they came to a degree, or as somebody would do like a kind of like a street build almost, or a, you know, a daily driver build, if you will. Honestly, knock on wood, a very reliable motor, the RB20. Haven't had any problems yet. The only problem I have had is my water pump is kind of starting to go, but I mean, it's the original water pump, so like, what else can you ask for a water pump to last 32 something years? So in terms of power, it doesn't have much of it, but it's got enough to make it a fun car. You don't really need a ton of power to be fun. Me being a Miata owner for the last 3 years, you know, that's kind of like what I live by. Small power, big fun, if you will. It's great. You know, it makes all the right noises. It's rear-wheel drive. It has a great chassis. This thing handles like a dream when it has the proper wheel and tire setup. This particular Skyline doesn't have the most optimal wheel and tire setup, as it has a small wheel and tire setup just for the aesthetics. 16x7 Work Meisters. The car came on RPF ones. I personally hate RPF ones. They were a decent size. I think the rear tires were like a 245, but you know what? This car wasn't really meant to be a track car for me or anything like that. Maybe in the future it'll be a drift car, but you know, just now I wanted it to be a nice little cruiser, and that's exactly what it does. The radio, I can't really say much for the radio because it only picks up Japanese frequencies, which only go up to like 89 point something, so we don't really get many of those stations here in the States. I have a Bluetooth speaker I keep in the trunk, and that does wonders for me. Other than that, the AC works great. It doesn't have a whole lot of like creature comfort options. There's no, I don't think there's any cruise control. There's no cruise control. Don't really need it, honestly. I'm not really going on any road trips with this. I could if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to, because this car is for, you know, your weekend around town, going to a car show, going to a car meet at night, like whatever it is. It's a good car for it. Personally, I like the sedan more than the coupe, just by the way the proportions work out and how it looks. I just really prefer the sedan over the coupe. Also, way easier to fit your buddies in the back. I've filled this car up, filled all 5 seats of people, and it's super easy to get in and out, and everyone likes it. You know, it's great. I love how easy this car is to drive. It's kind of just like you pick it up, and it aside from it being right-hand drive, it is a super easy car to get in and just cruise. The clutch is stiff, but it's very forgiving. The suspension is really comfortable. It's not like super bouncy or stiff like a lot of other cars I've had. It is a sportier suspension, but it's not stiff and unbearable. You could very easily daily drive this car. The gearbox is okay. I'm not gonna say it's the best. I'm not gonna say it's the worst, but like, you know, it's an RB trans. There's no short shifter, it's just stock shifter, and you know, it's a long throw and there's a bit of play in each gear, but like I said, I'm not tracking the car. It does what it needs to do. And aside from the fact that it is a inline-6 turbo, and it's also old, it's from the 90s, it actually gets pretty decent gas mileage. I average around 23 to 24 miles per gallon in this car. It's kind of weird though, because normal people will see this car if I'm driving past them and they won't think anything of it. You know, when I say normal people, I mean like not people into cars. Because people who aren't into cars just think that this is some old sedan. It doesn't look all that sporty. It's kind of stealthy. You know, even police officers don't really pay it much mind, just because it looks like a regular old sedan. But when you see someone who's into cars, they know what's up. And it's a great feeling when somebody gives me a thumbs up or somebody likes the car, you know. The worst feeling is when somebody wants to race and given it's like a BRZ or something, and I'm like, oh man, am I gonna win this one? Don't know. It's got pickup. I mean, you can get where you gotta go, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, this is not a slow car. Not by any means. That guy looks naked. Oh my god, he's naked. Yo, that dude is literally naked. What the hell? What? Why are you naked at the park? Alright, so what do I like and what don't I like about this R32 GTST sedan? Well, I can tell you what I do like. The way it looks. I like the way it sounds. You know, I love the way that it rides. It's super comfortable, super forgiving. It's honestly a great car. It's very hard to complain about this car. It just sounds so good. You can never get over that sound. It's so good. What I don't like about the car, I think the transmission can be better. It's often high in the RPMs when I'm cruising. There's no sixth gear. The shifter is not the best. The differential, I just wish it wasn't an open. The open diff kind of, takes the fun out of a lot of things. I personally don't like the steering wheel on well, this is a GTE steering wheel, so it's very similar to the S13's steering wheel. I don't know, it just has a weird overall shape, and I'm not like the biggest fan of it. I love the rest of the interior layout though, it's great. It's definitely a driver's car. I love that it has 4 doors. Love that it's got a nice big trunk. I don't love that I was pulled over and given many tickets for not registering it yet, but that's been taken care of since. I'm feeling a little bit hungry. I'm thinking maybe Taco Bell today. What do you think? Drive-through? Drive-through? Thank you. Thank you, you too. Alright, well, it's time to give the car its rating. Now, I do my rating system out of 8 different categories, and each one of them is out of 8. So there's 4 categories for practicality, and there's 4 categories for performance. Each rating is out of 8, so at the end, it's all tallied up to a score out of 64. For the R32 GTST Sedan, comfort is at a 7 out of 8. Space or room in the car, I gave a 6. It's a little bit small in here. It could definitely be bigger. The back seat, not really much leg room, but it's not like it's tiny. There's a big trunk. You can definitely fit stuff and people in here. For the finish, as in fit and finish, how's the interior quality essentially? I'm gonna have to give it a 3 out of 8. It's not great. It's an older car, so no surprise, nothing wrong with that. But it's gonna have its wear and tear, cracks here and there. And then for bang for buck, which is kind of more of an overall rating rather than just a practicality, I give it a 6. Now, it's a great car, but they are getting really expensive for what they are. You can pick up any other rear-wheel drive 200 horsepower car for the same price or less, and it's going to be a lot newer, more reliable, probably. So that's just where I stand on that. Now, moving into the performance category, I give this car a 7 out of 8 in handling. I think with with an optimal wheel and tire setup, it would be phenomenal. Acceleration, I give a 6. I'm going to change that. I'm going to change acceleration to, I think, a 5. I'm going to put acceleration at 5. There's not a lot of torque in this engine. The turbo takes a second to kick on, but after that, it feels really great. But yeah, not a lot of torque, so acceleration isn't the best. Performance potential, I'm giving it an 8 out of 8, just because there's so much you can do with an RB engine. Even unopened, like I said before, somewhere between 350 and 400 horsepower. Given you open the motor and you build it, I mean, sky's the limit, but in reality, you can probably make upwards of 600 plus horsepower with a built RB20 and a large turbo. And then for appearance, the way I like the car, personally, my opinion, how I feel I like it, I give it an 8 out of 8. I think this is a gorgeous car. Kind of a timeless design. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's really well made. So that gives us an overall score of 50 out of 64 for this car, which is the highest ranking car that I have taken into account for this graph so far. So I thank you guys for watching. I'm going to be reviewing more cars this summer. If there are any cars you guys want me to review in particular, please let me know. If you have a car that you want me to review, your car, let me know. You know, I'd be happy to. I live on Long Island in New York, so any cars here, maybe even a trip out to New Jersey if you know, if that makes sense. But yeah, thank you for watching.